Leveling up in Final Fantasy 1. It's tedious, it's time-consuming, it's boring, but it's necessary. In days past, you had to find ways to make leveling up happen faster so you get better results quicker. Back then, you could do this in various ways. Maybe you visit the Giant's Hallway in the Earth Cavern. I'll explain this one a little later. Or maybe you just simply grind around town resting in an inn. You know, the old-fashioned way. I had a very quick, efficient way of leveling up in this game, but with the recent release of the Pixel Remaster, Square took it away. Why? If you're new here, my name is Leonard Phillips, and here at the Returner's Hideout, we take deep dives into the Final Fantasy series and come up with possible theories to explain some of the mysteries of the games. So far, we've come up with which Final Fantasy you should start with and why, and the details behind Ben and leading a double life in Final Fantasy VI. We've still got a lot to unpack as the channel progresses, so if that's something you're into, you know what to do. Final Fantasy 1 is not for the faint of heart. Back in them days, RPGs were grueling. To become powerful enough to tackle boss battles, you had to be severely high-leveled and possess the best equipment and magic spells the game had to offer. The only problem with that is that equipment and those spells were expensive, and monsters were a little greedy with their experience points and money. Imagine killing an entire horde of wolves only to receive enough experience points to get halfway from level 1 to 2, but you're actually grinding from level 36 to 37. Not worth it at all. In fact, once you kill one of every wolf in the game for completion, just run from them the rest of the time. There's no point. Same thing with the zombie enemies too. They'll paralyze the entire party and chip away at your health until it's game over. And game overs in those days were the worst. I hope you saved. Remember to hold reset when you turn the power off because, look, the NES days were weird, okay? Games didn't auto-save then. Now we could speculate all day why games were made this way. Primarily to make the player feel like they got their money's worth by tacking on endless hours of gameplay without using a whole lot of resources. But that's not my goal here. My goal is to explain that Square took away the easily leveling places all throughout this game. I'm still a little mad about this, so let's just get into it. In Final Fantasy 1, when you're at the very end of a difficult dungeon and your party members are all beaten and worn out, you round a corner to find a lone treasure chest that probably contains the item you're looking for, like a literal set of TNT. Be careful using any fire spells around this item. It's enough to blast an entire hole in the earth for a ship to pass through. So you stand before it, and when you do, bam! You're locked into a battle with creatures that can, at this point, one-shot kill you and your party, and there's little you can do about it, except prepare. So you spend all your money on potions, antidotes, and all that fun stuff. Get to the boss in question and lay them out. Done. Easy. You retrieve the treasure and now you've still got all your health and magic points. You're kind of bored, so you re-enter the battle. I've done this countless times, specifically in the Ice Cavern when fighting Evil Eyes. They give you a stupid amount of experience points. I would spend hours leveling here and be at max level in a relatively short amount of time. But there's another spot too, much earlier in the game on what's called the Peninsula of Power. Nestled right at the edge of the map, close to Provoca, there's a 2-tile area that houses creatures from the Ice Cavern and the Earth Cavern. If you manage to level up just a little bit early on, you could take down these enemies for an early boost to your levels. But they took that away too. Come on, Square, don't fix your games now. Want to go even earlier in the game? Alright. In the Marsh Cave, there's a place where you fight a little group of enemies called the Pisco Demons. And they would come in a pack of 2 to 4 in every fight, granting the player a ton of extra experience and money very early on. I mean, Elfine prices are steep, man. But these little spots in the game made it much easier and allowed the player to sort of leverage the difficulty in their favor a little bit. Getting to Chaos at a higher level in a shorter amount of time made players feel like they really took control of the situation and conquered it. Now we gotta do stuff the old-fashioned way. Get to the Giant's Hall in the Earth Cavern and fight giants every single step. Or get to the bottom of the Chaos Shrine and teleport out anytime we need resting or to restock supplies. It's barbaric. Yes, for the record. The Giant's Hall has you fight and encounter every single step until you get to a specific tile that's not in the hall. Except it too was removed from the Pixel Remaster and replaced with a couple of robed fellas. Still a decently solid place to grind though. Word of warning on the earlier versions, just don't get caught in the middle of it and run out of supplies or magic. It's a terrible trip back out and all the way back to town. And you don't want that. I promise you. I've done that way too many times. Here's the thing about all of this though. With the release of the Pixel Remaster, yes, they did indeed take away these little tricks, and that really bums me out, like a lot. But the thing to realize with these remasters is that Square rebalanced them completely. Now you can get to level 5 fairly easily before ever fighting Garland. This, in the original NES version, would have taken forever, just fighting imps or goblins. Now it's almost accidental. Oops, I killed Garland in one hit and the time loop severed, killing all the fiends with it. I beat the game, yay. Where's my bridge, old man? I'm not saying that you can just blaze through this game like it's not a big deal. You will have to grind a little bit, but just listen, I managed to 100% complete this game in just over 8 hours. And Lord knows if I can do it, anyone can. And real quick, if you're looking for a place to level up in the remasters, look no further, I've got you covered. Early on, the little road between Cornelia and Matoya's cave is a good place, but be careful. And always use Cornelia's Inn when you can for the cheapest inn around. The Marsh Cave entrance is a good bet. Giant's Hall that I mentioned earlier is a good bet. There's really no one place I can say for sure unless referring to the other versions. Evil Eye all the way with those. Easy experience and little to no brain power required. I mean, you could be starting another Final Fantasy game while you did that. But whatever you do not fight the wolves, they're not worth it. But what do you think? Leave a comment stating your favorite place to level up in any iteration of Final Fantasy 1. Did I miss something that would have made the game easier than I thought? If you're not a returner yet, it's super simple to do that. Just go ahead and hit the subscribe button and join the returners today.